Okay, let's pause this here. Okay. Welcome in. I am Chief of Staff of Black Tech Saturdays. We're so glad to have you guys back here for another virtual AI series. Today, we're going to be talking about turning stories into multi-channel marketing. And today we have with us Cierra Turner. Just to give you a little bit about our presenter, she is a digital marketing strategist and founder of Social Spark, a marketing agency that has helped 30 plus entrepreneurs and organizations from the Midwest to the South by helping them to look good online through storytelling, strategy, and emerging technology. Her experience includes marketing strategy development, digital marketing, social media marketing, and consulting. Her focus is on helping brands to build visibility and connect authentically with their audiences. Cierra's mission is to promote empowered and confident use of emerging technology for personal and professional success. And without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to today's presenter. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop anything in the chat. There may be times that Cierra may opt for crowd participation. Just raise your hand and we will unmute you so you guys can come into view. And there also is a formal Q&A feature. So please feel free to put questions in the Q&A box. So I'll kick it over now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lauren. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I'll be touching on how to turn stories into multi-channel marketing. I recognize that as founders or early stage business owners, that this can be a bit of a difficult route to explore, especially when you have so many things in mind, just trying to get through your day-to-day. So my goal is to show you how to go from being reactive to being more proactive, learning how to take moments that happen through your daily operations, your week, into stories that can be shared on all of the marketing channels that you leverage. And I also hope you can kind of use this as a framework to build a workflow for yourself that can align with your daily operations and maybe set up a coordinator on your team to execute it on your behalf. And lastly, how to leverage AI to help refine your messaging, keep your voice intact, but also give you a boost to creativity. Because marketing does require a little bit of strategy, a little bit of creativity, and that may not be your strong suit. So hopefully this presentation makes you feel a little bit more empowered to do so. Really quickly, Lauren gave a great introduction of who I am, but I'm a founder as well. I actually started my business while living in Michigan, which is when I was introduced to the Black Tech Saturday community. So I'm really grateful to be back again, giving another presentation for the virtual AI series. I'm a founder of Social Spark. We are a boutique digital marketing agency, and we help established brands communicate their value and their services on digital marketing channels. Worked across a lot of different industries. One-on-one, I offer marketing consultations to business owners. So if you cannot, at the stage that you're in, afford having a retainer like marketing strategist or having a retainer content creation like in-house, I offer the ability to create a plan for you to execute, give you the case of success, and watch you implement it on your own, give my feedback as you do it. At Social Spark, I also am a social media manager, so I manage all of our clients' platforms, and I have team members who go out and capture the content on for my behalf. And then I'm also just a creative. I love designing things. I just love just trying to find ways to turn things into visual elements. So I'm going to jump into content. So it's 2026. And it's February. We're about 2 months into the new year, and I've met people and business owners who've talked about taking this year to be the year that they fully start investing in content and start investing in marketing and selling their brand. And so something that I've seen, I've watched this in action. I've heard people kind of talk about it, but when it comes to content, you can either cringe or kind of smile. You like it or you love it or you hate it. But it's one of those things you kind of have to be comfortable with, being able to be reactive and see content opportunities while you're out in the field and not just after the fact. So a lot of brands, what they do is, they'll go about their normal service, and they may take a picture while they're doing their work or maybe after like a final product picture, and they might post it or it might just stay on their phone and store it in the cloud and they never do anything with it. And so at my business, what we try to do is help you be a bit more proactive. So marketing starts before, it doesn't start after the project. So being able to be intentional. If you have a service that you're providing later this week, or you're, investing your time in making a new product, think about what in these moments can I capture to show proof that we create a quality product, or, we impact all these people. And then capture the process while you're at it. And then at the end, really reflect on what you did and try to find a way to communicate that to your target audience, to your customers. And if you model what Fortune 500 companies are doing, they don't wait until the end of a project to be completed to then include marketing. Marketing, the team is weaved into the entire process. So that's just something to note. So what I plan to teach you today is how to do it on a smaller scale. It'll be a bit more of a framework of what I'm about to show you, but it's something that you can implement on your own. So let's say that you own a remodeling company. You are a construction worker, you are a contractor, and the last week you did a consultation on a family home. They needed a bathroom remodel. So you went and you delivered this extremely beautiful bathroom remodel. But you noticed while you were doing the sales consultation, while you were at work, you could hear kids running around. You saw a family couple, and you also saw grandparents. So you recognize that this is a mixed generational household. But at the end of the day, you did your job. You might have taken a picture, and you're like, my work looks good. I'm ready to go. So on your way out, you got this really nice email from this family that you did this bathroom model for. And they were basically saying that, your work made them feel more secure in their home. Their grandmother had an issue entering in and out of the bathtub, but because of your work, they feel more confident and their grandmother is able to take a shower without them having to be worried or be stressed. And so this is a very special moment. But my question is, how do you market this? Are you going to go the generic route and post a before and after picture and put text that says another satisfied client? Are you going to skip the picture because you forgot to take a picture and just post a caption that says the renovation details, what you guys did, and the materials that you used? Or are you going to leverage this very kind note that you received to show the impact on what you did for this family? Or are you going to do something else? And if you do something else, or you're considering D as your option, please drop in the comments. I'd love to see kind of what you're thinking at the end of the presentation. But the real story isn't just about the tile and plumbing that you did. While you did an amazing job, the real story is the focus on the impact, which the impact for this particular family was the fact that their grandmother is able to bathe safely now. And that's what you need to think about when you are doing your work. You should consider the impact that you're having on other people and how you're able to weave in these personal moments and storytelling to make people feel something, whether it's happy, sad. Well, you don't want to share anything sad, but you just have to think about the emotional aspect of what you're doing because people connect with people and people love supporting other people. So just keep that in your mind. So I want to transition and kind of showing you a bit of a workflow that you can adapt for your daily operations. So we're going to start with connecting. So identifying what is a story. Storytelling is such a buzzword right now in marketing, especially in content creation. And so I know that it may be a little bit difficult to wrap your mind around what exactly is content, what that can look like. So some examples are testimonials. It could be your origin story, why you started a business, why your team is supporting you in your vision. It can be these behind the scenes moments, showing the process of your work, showing close ups on little things that people wouldn't even know are needed in order to create this product or build the service that you use. It can be impact moments, things that people wouldn't see if they weren't there, or just impact moments to other people. So in this construction scenario, it would be the grandmother moment. Or you can show a problem and solution. Record yourself doing a time lapse, showing what it looked like before and then after your service. So there's a lot of ways to go about it. And if this is something that you struggle with kind of coming up, you know what you want to share, but you struggle with kind of identifying what this would look like, this is definitely when you can leverage AI to kind of give you some visualization ideas. Because every strong campaign has these three aspects: transformation, emotion, and proof. And something that I encourage you to do, either now or just after this presentation, but throughout your day, like just think about, what has changed because of our work. Think about it on a smaller scale, the direct impact to the person that you provided, and also think about it on a larger scale, maybe like a city scale, state scale. Just think about just how this small transaction might have impacted someone, how it benefits them, What emotions are attached? How do people feel when you've completed the service for them or when they've purchased this item from you? And what proof can you show of this? Something that I encourage you to do is think about the fact that people, if you're offering a service or a product, people are spending their money on it. People don't like to spend their money, people like to save their money. So if they're spending their money on a product that you created, take some time to ask them. There's normally a story that comes with the purchase. And if you can find a way to position that to show how impactful what you do is, that's definitely where you can start pulling some content and some story ideas from. And so anytime you see a slide that says save this for later, I definitely encourage you to screenshot this or just write this down. These are things that I feel like will help kind of change your mindset from being a very busy business owner to adding a little bit of the marketing strategist techniques to your hat. So now that you've identified your story, or at least understand where your story is going to come from, you need to think about where you want to share this story. So the slide's a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of text on this, but I'm spotlighting some key areas that I see a lot of business owners share their information. So I definitely encourage you to screenshot this because these might be areas that you aren't currently sharing your story on that I definitely encourage you to leverage if it fits your business model and if your target audience is already using it. So for the most part, social media is the biggest thing. People leverage email. If you are a business where you are taking in personal information like email addresses or phone numbers or home addresses, most people use this information to send newsletters. That's why you get like 50 emails a day from any company that you purchase a product from online. But for some people, it helps. They get coupons through it. They get updates about the business. So this is something you could leverage. People often forget about their website. You don't just build your website one time and just never touch it again. It's actually a really great billboard that you can share just current work that you're already doing. And that is the beauty of taking pictures and videos and using these channels. For example, if we go back to this construction example of doing a bathroom remodel, the owner could create a case study about, what accessibility and just like what accessibility and safety looks like in home renovations and the way that they've come into homes and just improved the living situations for people, whether it be the elderly, whether it just be someone with special needs. You just never know if someone may be seeking a service like that. But I definitely encourage people to utilize their website more. There's a lot of capability there. And you can't forget about your in-person community where you talk about digital social media all day long. Um, but your in-person community, these are the people that actually make the purchases and do it. So if you're in any Facebook group chats or any networking groups, associations like Black Tech Saturday, use these moments. These are stories, these are conversation starters, ways that you can share a high for your business, something that went well this week. Or if you hear someone that talks about a type of struggle that they may have and you might have provided a solution for that, you can use it as a conversation starter. And people often forget this part, but sales channels. So if you are the type of business where you have to send like a proposal deck, or if you have to use brochures or palm cards and things to pass out, make sure you're keeping these updated routinely. I would look at these every quarter and see if you did some great work that you feel should be featured on these products for yourself. So these are all sales channels that you can leverage, but ultimately you need to decide on which ones work for your business. And this is where you will share your story. So after you've decided, or actually, I want to pause for a second. So when you are making that decision where to choose, where you want to share your story, you do not need to be on every single channel. I have come across so many business owners or websites where they have like every single social media platform that's ever existed. At the bottom, they made a profile. And while I understand it, you may be wasting time and energy and efficiency because you really need to understand your target audience. I encourage you to do some research on your competitors, what they are using to share their message. I consider you to invest. I encourage you to invest in some marketing tools to understand the demographics of your audience, the people that you have served. What type of channels do they use to find information? What type of channels do they use just to stay connected and just be entertained on social media? Some people may start at Google and then find your website. Some people might start on TikTok and then go to your Instagram and then your website. Or some people might get forwarded an email and now they're looking at your website. So you just never know which touch point people can find you on. So the more that you do research on who you're serving, the more you'll get a better understanding of their media consumption, and that'll tell you where you need to be posting your stories on. So this is a very key slide and something to think about. So after you've identified your story, you've chosen which channel you want to share it on, now it's time to create. And this can be very difficult for people that are not the most creative, or may not be as skilled in some of these like softwares that exist to kind of help with graphic design or video editing. But this is the fun part for me. But this is where you have a lot of resources at your hands to kind of create this. So some example visuals can be video testimonials. It could be a point of view from your perspective, like a day in my life video. It could be a Google review that you received or a Yelp review. It could be a video of your service in action, or even just a couple pictures showing kind of the time lapse between what you've done for the day for your service. It could be pictures of your team in action sitting at their desk on the phone, or for this bathroom remodel example, pictures of your crew that's in the bathroom doing the work. This could just be a final image reveal, but I encourage you to be very creative with this step. And if you are someone that just struggles with the creativity aspect, I encourage you to leverage AI. You can kind of demonstrate or share what it is that you want to share on these digital channels, but you're unsure of what this visualization aspect looks like. And you'll get a lot of ideas on how to leverage it. And I also encourage you to leverage Pinterest. Pinterest is a very great tool for just reference images and just inspiration. And I use that a lot actually when I'm building out branding or looking for some ways to share industries that are kind of harder to visualize and make really pretty. I definitely use that as a resource personally. And there are tools that exist to help you. So if you're someone that, if you're early stage and you really can't afford like an in-house graphic designer or a video editor, content creator, it's just time to figure out these skills and kind of enhance your craft. So I recommend leveraging Canva. The best thing about Canva is that you can upload your logo, the colors of your brand, and the fonts. And just with a few clicks, it's able to take a template and make it look like it's coming, it's speaking of your brand. So that's definitely something that I encourage people to leverage. Adobe Express is similar to Canva. There's templates and they have a lot of fun elements to help you visualize what you're thinking of. And video editing, this is a very time consuming task, but it can be very fun for some people. But leverage the templates that are built into these systems. And there's so many video tutorials that exist to kind of teach you how to use it. But again, like any other skill, any other thing that you learn, the more you do it, the better you become at it. So if you're still in an early stage and you can't afford to have someone come in and do it for you, I definitely encourage you to set aside at least one day out of the week just editing content or at least creating it. So now we have our visual piece. We've identified our story, we've picked our channel, we've created the visual. Now it's time to create the messaging for this. So before you start drafting any messaging, do not just jump straight to AI. Definitely keep your human creativity, keep your human authenticity intact first. So think about first the angle. What are you doing with this messaging? Is your goal to like educate your viewer? Do you want them to see, understand what goes into creating this product, into creating this service? Do you want to build trust with them? Do you want them to see, how impactful your service is and why they should work with you? Are you in a more, you're trying to drive urgency, being a bit more salesy, and you want to encourage them to visit your website or to book a consultation for more information? So I encourage you to spend some time really thinking about the story that you want to tell and write it in your own words. Write it, type it, and then use your own story as context for your AI tool. And so once you put your context into your AI tool, whether that be ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, whatever you are using, instead of just telling it to turn this context into a social media post, be specific. Your AI is only as strong as the direction that you give it. So, in a case like this, I would encourage you tell AI which channels you're sharing it on, because each channel communicates differently. They all have their own kind of personality. So Instagram is a bit more casual and more fun, where LinkedIn might be more professional, a little bit more formal. So identify which platforms you plan to share this information on. Tell it what you want. If you want an emotional hook, add that. If you want the language to be a bit more polished, say that. If you want to add a CTA, a call to action, you can tell it to do that as well. And you can also give AI constraints. You can tell it what you don't want. So in this case, I would encourage for a social media post for it to be limited to under 200 words. So I state that. So this is what it looks like if you're using ChatGPT. So you see the context here. This is what I wrote into my own words. And I essentially just said, and from the perspective of the construction scenario. So we recently remodeled a bathroom for a family who's worried about their grandmother. I identified, what we did, the service that went into it, and then the fact that we received a note from this family. And I asked for it to turn it into an Instagram caption, emotional hook, CTA, and to limit it to 150 words. So this is the output. You get that emotional line, which can help if you are an industry that is a bit more non-sexy, like a construction company. You're definitely going to want to weave some emotion and some storytelling into all of your messaging. And what I really like about it is because you provided that context in your own words, it's able to weave in the service spotlight. So it's able to explain what you did while weaving in that storytelling emotion aspect. And if you're someone that just isn't good at writing or you don't feel comfortable with your words, this is a great tool. And it's better, this is a better way of approaching spotlighting your services versus just posting a picture and saying, today we did a bathroom remodel, shout out to my crew. It's generic, but it's not something that's going to want people to kind of stay engaged. When you weave a story into it, it just appeals more, and people want to learn more. And what I really like about it is at the very end, because I asked for it to include a call to action, it says, if you're thinking about a bathroom remodel with safety and accessibility in mind, we'd love to help. What I really like is that it touched on safety and accessibility. So you never know, those may be two words of value to someone that may be going through a similar situation. So now you're letting you're letting viewers know that this is something that we care about or that we are experts in, and we're the people to go to for it. We don't just treat every job as in and out, get our money and go. We actually put our time, our care into it, and that's really what you want to convey. And then you see the call to action at the end: learn more and see our work at yourwebsite.com. So that's what it looks like to leverage AI to be very specific with your direction. But that's how you can kind of weave some storytelling and empathy into it, which is what I encourage all businesses to do. And so now you have your story, you know where you're sharing it, you know what it looks like, you know what you want to say with it. And now it's time for you to share this information, to circulate it. So, this is when you have the opportunity to share your story, not just in one platform like social media, but now this story can be shared in email. You can send out a monthly newsletter talking about impact moments of the month, and you touch on the specific story with this grandmother. You don't have to necessarily show this family, but you show the final work and you maybe share a screenshot of the email with the person's consent of what they said, or you just share the words that express this story. And you add this to your website. You add the picture of this final work to your website, and you add these to your sales conversations, whether that's in person or it's just printed materials that you have. So the goal really is for you to see how you can have these everyday moments and turn them into content, and you share it on different channels, not just one. When you kind of circulate this, it builds recognition where people are seeing it at different touch points, because not everyone is going to be on one platform at the same time, at the same moment. And repetition builds trust. The more consistent you are with sharing your message, the more visible you are, the more opportunity you will receive. And then here are some tools that I definitely recommend checking out if you are a business owner that uses more than one social media platform. I encourage you to look at these. If you're posting on Facebook and Instagram only, Meta Business Suite is embedded in Facebook. So you're able on your phone or an app to share a post across both channels very quickly. It's also built in Instagram, so you can post on Instagram and it automatically goes to Facebook. That's free. My agency, we use Metricool. We have like a custom plan because of the amount of people that we support. But you can add all of your channels. And what I really like about it, so you can connect your website and you can connect your Google business profile, which is very important. If you're a physical store, if you provide a service, I definitely encourage you to get a Google business profile. The Metricool is pretty cool. It allows you to share to all those channels in the click of a button. Same with Later and Buffer, and these are very affordable subscription based softwares too. And then if you are a company that's collecting personal information like emails and phone numbers, I encourage you to shift from your Excel spreadsheet to a CRM tool. So HubSpot and MailChimp are pretty cool. They're probably a little bit more easier than Salesforce, but you're also able to share emails with the software, send like text message campaigns. So definitely screenshot this if you use social media or if you are sending emails and text messages. So I hope you kind of understand how one service moment can turn into multiple pieces of content. And I just encourage you every day at the end of the week, reflect on what it is that you did for that week and think about what in these moments can be content. What am I doing the next week that I can be proactive, get some pictures in the moment, get some videos in the moment? How do I want to angle this? How do I want to position this? Do I want it to be storytelling? Do I want to promote a sale? Think about what your goals are for that week and use your content to build around that. And then I want to transition just into some AI considerations, especially if you're a business owner and you may be using AI to kind of help cover some of the marketing tasks that you do. I wanted to address some common misconceptions that I see in my own field and that I talk about with other people that are in the marketing field as well. So AI replaces creativity. AI at the core cannot replace creativity. Creativity comes from our own human, unique experience. It cannot walk the streets like we do. It cannot talk to people like we do. It cannot sense things the way we do. So, at the core of it, it will never be able to replace creativity. Um, and some people use AI to build out a marketing plan, which there's nothing wrong with that, but making sure that you put your human touch on it is very important. Um, I would say you wouldn't go, well, I guess some people have, but I mean, I wouldn't use AI as a lawyer. So just be mindful that, we have human beings that exist in this world that have dedicated their time and their experience in their respective fields. So while you can use AI as a tool, it really is not a replacement for strategy or for what people have gained in experience for years. Um, and something I hear a lot is people don't like AI because they think that it's given them some pretty vague things and pretty boring things, or maybe it's a little bit too much. And that all comes into play with what you're inputting. So, like I mentioned earlier, if you're going to be specific, you'll get a specific output. If you're going to be vague, then you're going to get a vague output. You do not need to master every AI tool, especially at the stage where we are. AI tools are popping up left and right. But it's like telling someone they need to learn how to master every, I don't know, every type of tool in their toolbox. Like you hire experts for things that you're unsure how to do. Hi, Georgia. I see your comment. So yeah, you don't have to learn everything. Stick to what you know, learn how to do better with it. And then if you feel the need to shift, then go ahead. But don't use that as an excuse not to stay innovative and to keep your perspective open. And then the misconception that using AI is cheating, that definitely is a bit more personal, but I wanted to address that. I mean, if you use Google, some people say Google is cheating, but to me, AI is just Google on steroids. It just does a better job at pulling all the information that you're already looking for, just a bit more quicker. But it's just one of those things. If your intentions are bad going in, then it's going to be bad. So use everything good and good intentions and to be fair in everything that you do. And then this is my last slide, just some AI responsibility considerations for founders. It's very easy to see ChatGPT or Perplexity and all these tools as like an eight ball, like you just get the magic answer, but don't get comfortable using it for every single thing that you're doing. Be intentional and be strategic with it. It can still be wrong, even no matter how confident it sounds, no matter how much it seems to connect with you emotionally. It's just a mirror, it's just code, and it's just patterns. So make sure you verify everything that you're receiving from it, because once you share that information on your behalf or your company's behalf, that's your reputation that's on the line. Protect what is public, protect what is not public. Do not share private information into AI. It's being stored on servers. So if it's something that you don't want shared, your client doesn't want it shared, don't do it. I would have conversations with people if you feel really inclined or struggling to think of something and just need to use chat, but just get consent, get permission from people. Be transparent. And AI reflects the data that it's trained on. So be mindful of any stereotypes or just language that just doesn't include everyone. Especially in marketing, you don't want to group people too much or put a blanket statement over situations. And then ultimately, you just have to decide in your own ethical line when it comes to AI. You have to decide on how much you want to rely on it and where to draw the line. And whether you're a leader, you have people under you, that may be a conversation that you might be exploring on your own team. I mean, we see the news headlines of companies stating that, they're encouraging their employees to use AI or they're investing in it. It's just this new form of technology. So it is the time to kind of decide on what your stance on it. But I just consider, I always share with people just to do your research. A lot of people get AI. It's generalized, it's a buzzword. Most times when people are referring to AI, they're talking about more generative AI, which is the images and like words that it can produce. But most people don't recognize that, your phone is artificial intelligence. When you're watching Netflix, there's artificial intelligence in play. So a lot of things we use on a daily basis as human beings has AI embedded into it. A lot of systems we've used over decades has had AI in it. We just didn't know, we didn't have a term for it. So now we do. So just do your research and just be mindful. Um, but that is it for my presentation. I do hope that you can have a little bit shift in your mindset about being a bit more proactive on how you come up with content, thinking about your day to day, how you can share it as a story, and how to identify where to share this information, and ultimately just how to be more intentional with your AI use, to use it as a tool and not a replacement for anyone or anything. Um, yeah, and that's it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to do the Q&A session right now, or you're more than welcome. If you're a bit more private or just have like a very personal question or something specific, you're more than welcome to email me or scan this QR code and we can have a discovery call. But I'm really big about just empowering people, making people feel confident in what they're doing, especially in the marketing world because it's so oversaturated and can be very overwhelming. So yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Sierra. As you mentioned, please put your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. This presentation and all of our virtual AI series presentations are recorded and will be available on our website. Our previous sessions are on the website if you missed any of those. This will be on as well, and you'll get a notification from Eventbrite when it is available. So thank you, Stephen, for that question. Can ask Sierra anything you want right now.
George, I wrote down your information so I can send you an email afterwards.
Looks like we have a question from Georgia. With the CRM slide, do you recommend one that won't take your data hostage?
I would say
So,
yeah, I would just do your research on it. Take a look at their like press releases and see if they've shared any information about hacks. At this stage in this digital world, it's really hard. A lot of it's hard. So just do your research, find one that you trust. Um, but I mean, if you're wanting to send email marketing, is definitely something to invest in, or just do kind of more manually and leverage like the mass, BCC feature in Gmail.
I hate to intrude, just as somebody who has used different CRM tools, I will also encourage you to look at ones that may also be tailored to your audience as a founder. There are so many different kinds that are equipped to support different types of businesses at different levels. And I love that you pointed out, Sierra, that Salesforce may be bigger, may be more equipped or accessible for
Mhm.
larger corporations. And it may be more intimidating for smaller ones, but um, for like service providers like Honeybook, um,
Mhm.
and I mean, there's so many
And
of them.
Square, I think.
Square has there's so many of them. Just I think she did a great job with kind of elaborating that. Somebody asked a question. Can you share any examples of before and after marketing campaigns for your clients?
Yeah, if we do a one-on-one, I can show you some of the work that we've done and kind of give you some like content ideas to leverage. Just take my email, or drop it in the chat and I'll write it down and I'll follow up with you. You're welcome.
Right. I think it looks like everybody should have your email and
Mhm.
your information. Um, but we want to just thank you, everybody. If you guys could just react with applause for our speaker today. She did an awesome job. I hope that you guys take this information and apply it to your businesses. Would love to see how this has impacted you guys. Again, this will be recorded and posted on our website. You will be notified, but we hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day and feel free to contact me. Thank you.